It's recording, it is not paused. We are not messing up the recording this time. All right, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. This training is going to be less of the usual webinar where we'd have, slides and interactive, activities. And it's going to be a little bit more of a demo. I'm going to show you our Canvas page template, and how to find it, how to use it, how it can help in your course. And yeah, so we're just going to go over kind of a crash course on using this template in your Canvas courses. But before we get into that, I am Jenna Schmidt. I am the Instructional Resource Consultant over at the Center for Innovation and Teaching Excellence, or CITE, as we like to be called. Some of you know me, some of you don't. And if you don't, it's so nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. And if you do, it's good to see you again. And then today, helping as my chat moderator is going to be Kylie Forsyth. She's our instructional design manager. And so she will be our main chat moderator who can answer your questions. So I do encourage you to use that chat if you have questions throughout the demonstration. And if she feels like your question needs to be addressed immediately, she can stop me. Again, because we're doing a demo and it's a recorded demo that we are going to publish for everybody to be able to use, we're not going to stop unless it's something that really needs to be urgently covered. So we will handle, specific questions and discipline-specific stuff. Anything that you need at the end, we'll take plenty of questions and discussion and we can talk about it. But for now, if you don't mind just putting in the chat when you have a question or a comment, that would be wonderful. I also have a couple other members of my team here, Casey and Chris, and so they both have ample instructional design experience and can also answer your questions as well. Engaging today, like I said, use the chat for most of your engagement. Kylie will stop me if you feel like you need me to stop and go over something again. And she'll just pop on the mic and, say, hey, can we review this? Or we have an important question to address. I do like when your cameras are on because that helps me know that you are following along with me. I can read your body language a little bit, but I understand if you can't have your camera on or don't want to. I'm not going to judge, and it's not required. It's just always preferred. And then as far as interactivity today, we won't have any planned interactive activities through polling software or anything like that, but we will have a Q&A at the end where we can talk about the template and any questions you might have. So without further ado, let's get into it. Just some basic page design principles in Canvas. You always want your pages in your course to be clear and organized and have a consistent structure and clean layout. And that is something that the template can help you with, right? So we made these templates to help you provide visual consistency and appeal to your course. And it allows you to do things design-wise that would normally require, coding knowledge and some more design expertise. But we did that so you don't have to. And it's what we think very simple to use as far as it's copy and paste mostly and super easy to customize. So that I just wanted to kind of get that general overview out the way. This is not, let me definitely emphasize this. This is not a replacement for course organization structure. Okay, so using the template doesn't mean we're not going to use modules. Okay, the template provides you a page template, so it's specifically for Canvas pages. And what we recommend to use it for is we have homepage templates, which I'll show you, and then we have a template for a content page. So that way your content pages just look similar and on theme with your homepage and your course. You're still going to want to use modules to organize this content, these pages, but the template can help you provide a welcoming homepage and a consistent structure throughout the course. So let's get to what I know you're all waiting for, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just give me 1 second. And let me close those tabs that we don't need. All right, so we're going to share screen one. There we go. Can everybody see my screen? You should see a Google Chrome web browser pulled up, and it's on my state right now. Kylie, I can see your head. Is my sharing working well? Okay, cool, perfect. All right. So, today, kind of the order of what we're gonna do and how we're gonna go over everything is first I'm gonna show you how to access the template in Commons. If you don't know what Canvas Commons is, it's just a really great bank of resources and that are made by people all over the country, all over the world, depending on how much access they've given you. But basically, you can download things from Commons like pages, modules, courses, things that you want to revamp or redo and customize to your own courses. And so that's where we house this so it's accessible to everybody. Then we're going to go over what's included in the template after you import it, and then we'll talk about how to customize your template pages and how to use the page resources. So first, let's talk about accessing. You're going to want to go to your Canvas dashboard. So you can go through My State and click the Canvas link. And then once you're here, we're going to go over to the global navigation. So the global navigation is this maroon strip that's usually on the left side of your computer screen. And that's where you have all of your, large scale Canvas links. So this is where you can access your courses, your dashboard, your Canvas account, your Canvas inbox and calendar, and it's also where you can access Commons. So if you look towards the bottom of that global navigation, you're going to click on Commons, and your Commons dashboard will open up. I have it in list view, but normally it's in card view, so it looks a little bit more like this. And from here, you are simply just going to search for the template. So our template is just called the MS State General Use Template. Okay? Pretty straightforward. And you should be downloading the one that has this bulldog icon, and you should see Darian Saffold's name at the bottom of that card. And so that's how you know it's the template that we created. So you're going to go ahead and click on that template and Commons, and it'll take you to a page like this. So this shows you all of the pages that are included in this artifact. So this is a course, so it tells you what type of artifact it is and then shows you the pages. It also tells you which files are included, and that's all of the images and links or files that we used in creation of these pages. They have to import so that the pages load correctly. So there are a couple different ways you can get the template into your course. I'm going to use the import function, which is a little more straightforward, but you can also download a course package and then upload that course package into a course shell in your Canvas account. If you need to do it that way, I'm happy to walk you through it or show you how at a separate occasion. But today we're just going to use the import function. So we've searched our general use template and we see our preview and we see everything we're going to get. The first thing I'll say to do is, and I've already got it marked, but mark it as a favorite. That way, if you ever accidentally delete a course with it in there or you lose it and you need to re-import it, you can come to your Commons and go to your favorites and you'll be able to find it more quickly without searching. So that's the first thing I would do. And then we're going to import it. So you're going to go over to the right of your screen and there's a blue rectangular button that says import download. So we're going to click that and you should have this list pop up. So this is a list of all the courses. Obviously, I have a lot of courses that I am involved in. But instead of searching through that whole list, we can just search for the course. So I made a course shell for today, and it's titled GUT Training Course, which if you haven't caught on, General Use Template, the acronym is GUT. So, so the GUT Training Course, and so it pulls that course up from my list of courses, and all I need to do is select the checkbox and then click import into course. This download button is how you would download that file package to then upload. So we're going to press. I meant to say click and press and it turned into collect. We're going to click import into course. And then you'll see this green banner. And so we've started the import, so it may take a minute to import. So we're going to navigate over to that course. And I already have it open, but you could just navigate to your dashboard and then open the course. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And so hopefully my pages are loading. And everything that you saw in here, notice it's a page, okay? So to make sure that you've uploaded everything correctly or import everything correctly, you want to check your pages. So in your course navigation, now remember, Global Nav is that maroon banner on the left, and Course Nav is specific to each course, and it's this list of links on the left side of your course screen. So we're going to go to our pages, and I have a front page right now. So we'll go view all pages. So we can see that everything from Commons successfully imported into this course. What you should have is 2 versions of a home page and a content page. These are the page templates. And then you should have a bunch of pages titled page resources. These are going to be buttons, banners, header boxes. These are all elements that we're going to be able to use to customize these pages. There's a very important page that imports, and it's the template and resources user guide. We're going to kind of go over that really quick because I think it has some really good information, and it's just going to kind of point you in the right direction in using this template. So I'll pull that up. So when you pull up that, you'll get the kind of copyright statement that we have, which this is Creative Commons, so you're obviously welcome to use it and customize it. And then I have some tips on using the template. Obviously, if you can see this page, you might not need to know how to import or download it, but you can always, if you're trying to help somebody else, copy and paste this and send this to them. There's also an article link in here about how to request a developmental course. One big thing with the template that we always recommend is that you import it into a developmental course, or what we call a sandbox. So this is a course with no students that's not active, where you can practice certain design strategies, you can play with creating content and things like that. So we highly recommend that you import these template pages into a sandbox course. That way you don't disrupt any course settings or page settings in your active courses. And again, if you need help doing that, I have this link here, but there is an ITS, this is an ITS article from Mississippi State, and I'll be able to share that with you in the follow-up, or you can access it when you download everything. There's some tips for teaching online, and that you don't have to freak out if the template breaks. We do, like I said earlier, this was coded in HTML, and so it was not necessarily complicated, but more complicated than most people would want to deal with for building a course page. So if you feel like you broke something, or if you think that something in the code is wrong, please reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly, or our help email, which is at the bottom of this page, but we're happy to fix that for you. Trust me, anything you think you quote unquote broke, we can fix it. It's going to be okay. Down here we have some drop-down menus, and this is actually a great demo of some of the page elements that we have available for you to use. You will have access to drop-down things like this if you want to put those on your pages. And these are just tips for using the template and the pages. And I actually wanted to go over all of these with you, so we'll review them really quick. So duplicating and editing your template pages. When we go to customize a content page or a home page, we're always going to tell you to duplicate that page first, so you have a copy of the original, or you have the original in case you need to go back and start over, in case you want to make something new with that same thing. Always duplicate the page so you have a copy of the original. And then when you are editing the page, just make sure you're in edit mode, and make sure you save when you're done. Most people, know to do that, but I've seen it happen too many times where faculty have worked so hard on building this beautiful page, and then they don't save it and it just goes away. So make sure you save, and then remember to publish when you're ready to publish. This is all tips for using adding content to the pages. I'm not going to go over them all individually, but they're there if you ever need guidance. We're probably going to cover them as we customize pages in just a few minutes. But these are here for if you're ever struggling with how to put a Canvas Studio video into a page, how to accessibly put a link into a page, all of that. We have some information here. And then this just goes over what I think Kylie might have mentioned earlier in the chat, which is your browser does make a difference with how you use this template. So as you see here, basically in anything besides Firefox, you need to be in edit mode to copy and paste template elements. And you'll see more of what I mean when we go to customizing. But in Firefox, you don't have to be in edit mode. So you can just copy and paste from the page and put it somewhere else. I'll remind you of that. I'm in Google Chrome, so we will need to be in edit mode when we start working. But that is important for you to know depending on what browser you like to work in. It works in all browsers. I want to really reinforce that. You just have to handle it a little bit differently depending on if you're using Firefox or not. And then the last tip is just about setting your home page, which again, I can go over and demo for you, but there are links here that go to the Canvas community guides that show you how to do each of those things. All right, there's a note for accessibility. If you are not used to using the accessibility checker in Canvas, this is what it looks like. It's a little circle with a human figure inside of it. And accessibility in digital spaces, especially digital classrooms, is very important. And so make sure you're running that checker whenever you're building a page. Our template is designed to be fully accessible. So the state that it's in right now, it is accessible. So you can kind of have peace of mind on that if you are using this template. But always run the
asterisk that.
Okay.
In that if it's not modified too heavily, it will remain accessible.
Right. If you don't go crazy with the customizations, we can basically guarantee accessibility, but we cannot guarantee it once you've started making major modifications to it. So if you're using our elements and you haven't altered the pages too much, especially if you haven't gone in and altered any of the code, you should be okay. But that's true, Kylie. I'm glad you pointed it out. We can't guarantee accessibility once it's been modified to a certain extent. So just keep that in mind. But as is, they are accessible, and you can still run this accessibility checker in Canvas, which is in the rich content editor. And again, if you want to see that, I will point it out to you as we go. Then, of course, we just have our contact information. This is the email you can use to request help about the template or anything else related to teaching. You can also, like I said, with template issues, email me directly. I'm pretty much in charge of maintaining this, so if I can't help you, Darian can, right? But we'll take care of you if you ever run into any issues. And then, of course, we also have a feedback survey down here. I really encourage you, once you've played with the template a little bit, we'd love to hear your feedback, as we're always trying to improve our design and improve the resources we offer to you. So that is all on that template and resources user guide page. So I just wanted to give y'all a rundown of all of that real quick. You do have resources available to you within the template. Before we jump into page design, do we have anything urgent from the chat? Any questions that we want to address? I see Chris shaking his head no, so I'm going to assume we're good to go. Also, pace-wise, are we good, guys? Am I going too fast, or are we moving at a decent pace, do we think? Thumbs up if we're okay. I'm looking at everybody. Looking at the few people who are letting me see their lovely faces on their cameras. Well, I'm just teasing. But, okay, cool. So let's jump into customizing these pages. So first, let's go back to all of our pages. We're going to click View All Pages. And let's say we want to make a home page. And I'll show you an example of a home page that I've created with our template. So notice how it's stylized, it's fun, it's branded for the university, it's got a bulldog, we love a bulldog. And this one is our version with a navigation bar. We also offer a version without this horizontal navigation bar. But basically, you have the ability with this template to create a bit more of a visually appealing and well-structured homepage for your course. Instructional design best practices say a homepage is a great way to set the tone for your course, especially in a purely online course. I don't know who here is only teaching online, but this template is for online and face-to-face use. We're all using Canvas, right? But especially in an online course, a homepage is really, really important. So this template can help you build a welcoming homepage that looks really nice and is somewhat low effort, right? This is also a good example of some of those elements we're going to look at. These are what we call headers, and really it's just a color block with your title text in it, right? And then we also have drop-down boxes, which you saw a version of earlier. And then we have content boxes. So these are just basic content boxes that just kind of separate the content a little bit from the background. And then, of course, everyone's favorite, we have buttons. We have buttons in all colors and styles. And those are just basically links to different things. So this one is a Start Here button, so I would connect it to probably the first module of my course. And so when you're creating that course homepage, you just wanted to have the pertinent information for your students, like your contact info, an overview of the course, and maybe you're updating it regularly, like with a weekly overview instead of a course overview. But it's just a warm, welcoming landing space for your students to be able to easily navigate your course. And that is also why we have this nav bar up here. You can put commonly used links like syllabus modules. Maybe you have a water cooler or Q&A discussion board. Those are the types of links you'd want up here. I have a tech help link up here, and I could link that to the ITS service desk for students if they need tech help and other student resources. So let's say you want to make a homepage like this from our template. So the first thing you're going to do is decide, do you want to make a homepage with a navigation bar or a homepage without one? We're going to make a homepage. Since I showed you an example of one with a navigation bar, let's make one without. So the first thing you're going to do is find that page, and so in the template it's just titled home. It will be set as your front page. I can show you how to turn that off, but for now we'll just leave it as is. But the first thing you're going to want to do is go to what we call the kebab. If we ever hear the term kebab when we're talking about digital design and stuff like that, it's always going to be like a stack of 3 or 4 buttons. So you go to the kebab on the very far right of the screen and click it, and then you will see some options. We're going to click on duplicate. So now you can see right below that original page we have a copy of that page, and that's the page we're going to work on. So let's open it up. And so this is what it's going to look like when you go to start it. There's not going to be any, there's no picture. We have a filler image. There's filler text. Our logo is up here, which you are welcome to change. And then it's completely customizable. So we're starting from scratch here, right? So let's say we want to make a home page, and the first thing we want to do is fix the title of our page. And I'm going to make this full screen so we can see. So changing the title is very easy. It's very basic. Copy, delete, and type it in. So let's say this class is, I always use Multimedia Learning 101 because it's just second nature, right? Okay, and then in our header, maybe this is where, if we're creating a page similar to the example I showed you, this is where we might put some of our biographical information so they can meet their instructor. So maybe for our header, and as you saw, I just clicked in here. There's nothing fancy about, changing that header text. I'll highlight it. We'll put meet your instructor. Ooh. The curse of never being able to type when people are watching you. So we're going to say meet our instructor, and we'll pretend that there was maybe a cool quote here like I had, and maybe I want to put my contact info in here. So for the contact info, this is going to be a little tricky. Your cursor is going to change. If you'll notice that your cursor turns into that hand icon and then it goes back to the normal text cursor. That's okay. You can still just click into what's called the summary. So this top part's called the summary. You can still just click into that and backspace and then type what you want. So we'll put contact information right there. And then you would go ahead and you could edit this. You can use bulleted lists in this. You can use numbered lists. This is still a content box where you can type normal text. So nothing crazy here. So now you'll notice that when I'm in edit mode, this is always open. I can't close it. But then when we save it and we get out of edit mode, it will always be automatically closed unless you open it. Filler text down here, this is where you could put a description of the course, a bio for yourself. It's really up to you how you want to stylize it. And then you also would probably want your a photo of yourself. So this is one of the trickier things that people have generally asked me questions about is how do I change this picture out? And the reason I have learned that most people are scared to do that is because they think they're going to break the template. So we're going to do it right now, and you're going to see that it looks like I broke it, and I didn't break it because I promise you we made this as unbreakable as we possibly could. So what I like to do is click on the image because I want my image to go in this general vicinity. So that way I know whenever I insert will be in this area. It will not replace this image placeholder, and you'll see that. We'll have to delete that after, but I promise it'll be okay. So the first thing we're going to do is click on the image and then go up here. We're going to say upload image, and I'm going to use an image from my computer. I have pictures. And whenever you upload an image or you insert an image onto a page, you'll have the option to provide alt text. If the image is purely decorative, you can mark it as decorative, and a screen reader will not read it. But this is not decorative. This is an image of me, right, in for my course. So my alt text would be Jenna Schmidt, the instructor of multimedia, whatever I put, learning 101. Smiling at the camera. It's descriptive, it's short, and it tells students, you know, what they need to know if they're using a screen reader. So then we're going to make sure embed image is selected, and you'll click submit. Now watch what craziness happens here. Look how big that is, okay? It looks like I broke it, but I didn't. So the first thing we're going to do is delete that image placeholder. So I just select it and hit delete, and it'll go away. Now, next thing we're going to do is just simply resize this, and it should be right where you want it to be. So we're going to make it just about the same size of that placeholder, and look at that. Our template is back to how it was, except we have the proper image in there. Moving down to this next section, again, your header is very straightforward. You just click in, and you can either highlight or backspace from the end of the phrase and alter that text. And then you have this content box. So content box is going to have this kind of header text, which is going to be bolded, and then it'll have filler text that you can replace. One thing I have used content boxes for on a home page is to show like course level objectives, and that way they stand out a little bit and students always know where to look for them. It could also be where if you're doing, let's say I wanted to make this a weekly overview section, maybe for the header for it, I'll put the dates. So this week was what, the 9th through the, was it the 9th? 10th? 10th through the, whatever Friday is, I think 14th. So, and then I would have my weekly, whatever statement or disclaimer I have for the week for my students. So a homepage can be dynamic. It doesn't have to be the same thing over the course of the semester, but it should be consistent and easy to navigate. So that's the content boxes. And then the last thing on here that we would need to alter is this button. So the easiest way to do that, in my opinion, is to click on the button and then click link options, because all a button is a fancy looking link. Don't let anyone tell you any different. And so you'll see these options here for text and link. Text is going to be what displays. So usually on your home page, you won't have too many buttons. If you have more than one, they might be navigation style buttons, so they'll bring you to maybe the course modules and the syllabus. But if you see a button, how I like to do it is a button at the bottom of the page that says start here. So, and that brings them to whatever first page or module I want them to start at. So maybe you have a welcome module, maybe you have one welcome page that gives them a rundown of the course, and maybe it has a video on it. This button can link to that page or that module, so your students are directly kind of jumping into the course. So I don't have a link for it right now, but you would just copy the URL of whatever page or module or and what website, wherever you want this button to go, you'd put it in this link. Sorry, y'all, I feel like I have to sneeze. It's not happening. Okay. And then once you've customized the button however you want, you're going to just click done. And now it will go to wherever it's linked and it should display the text that you customize. So very, very simple to customize the home page templates because they already have some elements on them. So if you're fine with using the elements that are already here, you don't really need to copy and paste anything. You just need to alter the text. Now, if you wanted to get rid of this, maybe you don't want this section and you just want the Meet Your Instructor section and the button. Well, you can just highlight and delete, okay? Don't be scared to do that because first of all, if I were to just simply go down here and press cancel, it would come back. None of my changes would save anyway. But if I do save it, there is a way to recover pages, and that's also why we duplicated this, because you still have the original layout. So you can kind of see how all of that advice that we've been talking about plays into this process. So I'm going to go ahead and just save it as it is. And that's kind of our small introduction for customizing these homepage templates. One thing I didn't do, but it's the same process as changing this placeholder image, is if you wanted to put your department's logo up here, you would do the same thing where, like I told you, where you'd select the image, insert a course, upload an image to the course, add your alt text, and then delete the old one, and it should be in the correct appropriate spot. So that is homepage. Is there any specific questions regarding homepage design using the template that you have so far before I move on to using page elements to design content pages? I think we're good. Okay, is there anything, Kylie, in the chat that about homepages or anything that I need to address before moving to the next topic, or are we good?
Nope, you're good. I did tell people that if you want to undo something, if you're kind of scared that you maybe messed it up, don't be afraid to use that undo button or the Control Z.
Absolutely, yes. When y'all saw me delete that, if I would have clicked Control Z, it would have popped right back up on the screen. That is a great tip. Control Z is your undo button when you are working on the computer, or if you're a Mac user, it will be Command Z. For my Mac users out there, I'm a Windows and Mac user, so I try to make sure everybody's included when we're talking about computers. Absolutely. I'm seeing James's chat. Are you specifically asking to see the homepage with the navigation buttons? Okay, cool. Can do before we move on to the content page. So let's go back. And I'm going to make a copy so that way if I edit anything in here, I still have that original. So we'll duplicate.
And while Jenna goes back, I will say that there's not necessarily a configuration of home buttons that's best. It really depends on first of all, how frequently you maybe want to update the course, but also how individual courses function. I would say it's a case by case basis.
Yes, but I can definitely give some suggestions on what are very common buttons, if that would help, James. So this is our template page for homepage with a navigation bar. And as you see, the navigation bar, and I'll use air quotes around that, is really just a series of 5 buttons next to one another. So it's going to operate the same way that this button did. And so you'll click it, you'll click link options, and you'll customize it here. As you saw on my prior navigation bar on my sample homepage, I had things like syllabus, modules, Q&A. So those are going to be your most common types. But really what you want to ask yourself when you're determining what your navigation buttons should be is what are going to be the most used or most likely used resources or links in my course. So for most courses, that is going to be the syllabus, getting to the modules page, which yes, students can use the course navigation, but sometimes it's nice to just have that button right there that says modules. If you have, like I said earlier, if you have a Q&A discussion where you encourage students to just ask general questions, you can have a button for that. I think a tech support button, in my opinion, is a great thing to do. Like either offering a link to a page where you've put multiple tech support options, so like MSU's ITS, Canvas community, things like that, or link that button directly to like our ITS service desk. And also, I should say, if you don't want 5, maybe you only want 4, you should be able to, and watch it not work for me, but you should be able to just highlight and delete. Look at that. So if you want to get rid of one of those buttons, you can highlight and delete, and then I will just demonstrate what Kylie was talking about before. I'm going to go ahead and click Control Z, and look, that button is back. So most things that you do can be redone or undone. So don't sweat it if you feel like you've messed something up. I promise you haven't broken it to you know, unfixable territory. But yeah, so James, I hope that helped you kind of get an idea of what those navigation buttons could or should be if you choose to use this layout. Any more questions about the home page, the navigation bar, anything? That was great. I'm glad you asked that before we move on to content pages. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna press cancel because I didn't really do anything to it anyway. And then we'll go to view all pages. So I'll show you first, like I did with the home page, an example. So what I like these content pages for, mostly, in my opinion, I like them for the overview pages. I think modules should have some sort of overview or read first page where it kind of tells you how to move through the module, what you're expected to do for the week, and summarizes everything in one location. So in this sample, I have an introductory statement to Module 2. I also have a drop-down box that has a summary of our last module, so students, if they want a refresher, can open this. But notice it's not just readily available because it's supplemental, and I don't necessarily think they need to read it. So that's a way that I use the drop-down boxes. And then I have sections down here with readings. If you have articles that have links, you can hyperlink these readings, and I'll put it in edit mode so you can kind of see how to do that really quickly. Hyperlinking is really straightforward in most, you know, programs, but especially in Canvas as well. You would just highlight the word, and you can either do up in your tools, you can see this link, like this chain link icon, and you can do an external link or a course link. So course link is like if you wanted to link that text to a page or a discussion board or another course element in Canvas. And then external link is just going to be the URL. You can do that, or I always use a keyboard shortcut, which prompts you to put in a URL, and that's going to be Control or Command K. And that will pop up this box, and this is where you could put whatever link to whatever article. So for all intents and purposes, I'll just do the first link that's on here, and then it will, your text will now look like this, where it's maroon and underlined, showing that it is hyperlinked. And you can adjust that link anytime, just like we did with the buttons, by clicking on it and clicking link options. So hyperlinking text under readings, if your readings are linkable, is another way you can use this. And then I used buttons down here for their assignments for this module. You don't have to. Again, you could do hyperlink text in a list, but I thought the button stood out a little bit, and it gave it a little bit more of that visual appeal and kind of drew students' attention to the bottom where those deliverables are. So that is our sample. So let's go build something similar in a blank content template page. And I'll go ahead and we can save that. All right. So first step, as always, is we're going to duplicate. Shocker. Find the content page, and that is going to be your starting ground. So we'll duplicate that. We'll open that copy. And this is what your content page template starts out as. Very basic, no bells and whistles, nothing crazy going on. And so we now can customize this however we want. If you just want text Webex-based content, that is perfectly fine. I'm not going to yell at you for it. You can do that in here. And that's very straightforward. You just go in edit mode and you're going to, you know, highlight, type, whatever you need. Now you'll notice as I do that, the gray expands, okay? That's because that is called, in code speak, we call that a div container. And so that's just keeping the styling wherever you input content. So you can't click out of that container to insert content, so you don't have to worry about that. So like the other pages, we would change the course title. So maybe this is Module 3 overview. And again, I would like to reiterate, this is how I like to use these content pages. You can also use them for actual content pages, like if it's a page that has your weekly lecture video embedded with extra things, you can use this for that. The overview page is just one of the most straightforward things I can demonstrate for you that also can feasibly utilize our other elements. Therefore, I can show you how to use pretty much everything. So please utilize these pages however you see fit for your course. And remember, I'm just demonstrating with a possible scenario. So before we start customizing everything, I will say one thing you probably want to do is have this page open on a separate tab. So if y'all don't mind, I'm just going to really quick open my pages on a separate tab. So that way it's easier to switch back and forth between our two things, because we're going to have to copy and paste from one or copy from another and paste to this page. So the first thing I want to do is I would like to replace this header with one of our stylized like block style headers. So I'm going to go to my pages and I'm going to look for the page resources that says headers. I'm going to click on it and voila. So we have everything in this top section is technically, actually it needs to be updated because some of these colors are no longer on the MSU color palette, but most of these are MSU brand colors. These are all still brand colors, and then yeah, we need to fix that, but that's okay. And then down here we have dozens of additional colors, and then we also have various outlines. You can't necessarily tell at first glance, but these outlines are all different shades and colors as well. So I'm just going to do a normal maroon header. And remember, I'm in Google Chrome, so my first step is always going to be putting it in edit mode. And so that just means selecting that edit button at the top right of your screen. And then my second step is, and this is probably one of the easiest elements to move or use. You're simply going to highlight it and copy it. Or if you want to use the shortcut on your keyboard, it's going to be Control or Command C. So I've copied it. And so I actually want to replace this header. So I'm going to delete that. And then I'm just going to right click, paste, and it's there. So very simple to use, very straightforward. Thank you for being here, Molly, and we're recording, so you will still get this afterwards.
Take care.
So we have this maroon header now, and I want to alter the text to say, you know, intro to module 3. And then I could put whatever my intro text is, and I have that section completed. But let's say underneath, like I did with my example, I want to add a drop-down box that summarizes last module's content. So we're going to go in here. I always press, I will say this as a tip from Jenna, on the pages where I'm copying page resources and elements and stuff like the headers or the buttons, whenever I go out of edit mode, I always press cancel. That way it reverts back to the original page and has the original contents. But that way, if you accidentally did change something, you don't save those changes because you don't want to mess with the code or the structure or anything on these resource pages. And I see it is 10:45, so I will try to pick it up a little bit. So let's say I want to add a drop-down box. We have two pages. One is the miscellaneous one is going to be miscellaneous colors, and that MSU palette is going to have those MSU colors. But let's go to miscellaneous. Let's pick a fun one. Now, this is a good spot also. Notice how some of these are a little hard to look at. If you're going to pick a color, you know, a drop-down box, try and verify that it has good color contrast. This is another accessibility concern. You can use a free color contrast checker to see what the color, like the hex code for this color is. I believe you should just be able to inspect the page and then, no, that's going to be harder. Ignore that. Just if it feels hard to look at, maybe don't use that drop down box in that color combination. So for like your lighter colors like this, you would want to change this text color to black because this is very hard to see, very hard to look at. And for these darker colors, you'd want to change this text color to white because again, that contrast is really low and it's going to be hard for our low vision students to read. You will see 2 of every single color, and that is because you have 2 options. That's going to be full color, means the whole drop down is that color, and then summary color means, remember, this is just the summary, and when you open the drop down, it's going to be white or transparent. So let's put it in edit mode. I want to put this navy blue drop down box in my thing, in my page. So you're going to want to go to the line below it, okay? This is very important. Make sure you copy from or highlight from the line below it and then drag up, if it'll let me. There we go. Drag all the way up until, and I think with this top one, we're just going to have to copy that. Here, we'll do it at the bottom. Let's go from here. So you want to drag it all the way up until both, you've highlighted this line above. If you can see what I'm talking about, that line between the 2 drop-down boxes, you want to make sure that that's highlighted as well. And then we'll copy. We'll go to our page. And always, here's another thing. You always want to make sure you have space between things before your final version, because once you've placed some of these elements, it's very hard to get your cursor back onto the just the basic background without breaking it. So I'm going to say make sure you have plenty of padding and then paste it in, and we can reduce the padding if we need to. So we're going to paste, and look, there it is, fully functional. So maybe I just want 1 line between these 2 sections, so I'll delete until it's just 1 line between the 2. Okay. And again, to edit that, you just go in here, edit your summary text, and then edit your stuff in here. So here's where we would put, you know, module 2 review. Okay. Last thing that I want to show y'all is the buttons, because I know that's going to be a highly used thing. I feel like headers and buttons are our most used elements. So we'll go to the pages, and let's say we want to just put a button into, maybe there's an exam in this module, okay? So we'll go to our buttons, and we will, again, put it in edit mode because I'm in Google Chrome. And we did recently add these button sets. So if you want, it's a little hard to manually space buttons when you're copying and pasting them individually. So Darian was so kind as to create these little button groups. So that way, if you want multiple buttons, and most people are not putting more than 4 buttons on a page, especially a module overview page, which is why they're in groups of 4. But you can copy and paste these as is. And that way you have 4 buttons that are evenly spaced and will adapt to the size of your screen. So what we're going to do though is, you can see there's plenty of different button options down here with different styles. We're going to go in edit mode, and we're going to scroll down till we find one we like. I'm going to use this 3D looking gray button. And again, this is going to be very similar to the header. You're just going to highlight, and I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut this time, Control C. And then I'm going to Control V, which is your keyboard shortcut for pasting. And look at that, that button is there and ready to go. If you want it to be right aligned, you can simply use the align tools. Just make sure your cursor's in the button, and you can put it just like text wherever you want on the page. And again, you know that the way to edit it is to just click on it, click link options, and change your text and put the correct link in there, and you should be good to go. And so now it says exam 1. So I think that was everything as far as an overview on how to kind of use this, how to get started with our template pages. And we do have about a little under 10 minutes left. So I'm going to, just for a second, and I'll reshare if I need to, but stop sharing for a second and just take some questions, comments. Y'all let me know if there's something else you want to see. So yeah. Hello, everyone. I can see your lovely faces again. So any questions, feel free to just pop on the mic. Oh, and Darian's here too. So if you have questions about, the technical stuff, he might be able to help us. I'm just going to read through some of these chats real quick. Is anybody going to use it? Did anybody already go into Commons and import it? I see James shaking his head. Did you want to see anything else specifically? Do you feel like there was something that you're maybe confused about that you'd like me to go over while we're here? I think I will show you how to set a page as your front page and your home page. I think that's a good tip since we talked about building home pages today. But I just wanted to check in before I went into that to see if anyone wanted something different. Could you show us how to put pages into it? Yes, can do, James. Andrew, I'm gonna let Kylie answer that question.
So, BCOE Bagley, right?
That's Colin. That's Bagley.
Let me make sure I get my acronyms right today. So yes, once upon a time we did custom templates, and I think that Bagley template was actually one of the last custom ones that we did. So, and forgive me, it's been a while, so I can't remember the specifics of each template. That one may function a little bit differently than this. It might have the 4 or 5 link navigation homepage. But that was one that was kind of commissioned from us. And so we built it based on the specifications within Bagley that we were given.
Yeah.
And so,
so long story short, this is different.
Yeah.
This is a general, that's why also we titled it general use template. It's literally for general use in any discipline. So yes, this is different and openly available on Commons.
Yeah, and I will say this one is very likely much easier and more updated to use.
Yes.
So just kind of keep that in mind.
Okay, so real quick, I need to leave a little early, thank you. Oh, good to see you, Laurice. I'm glad you came. So real quick, I will show you how to set your front page and your home page, and then James asked to show how to add a page to a module, so it can do. So right now, this home page is automatically set as the front page, so what I'm going to do is remove that as the front page. So I'll go to the kebab on the right, same place where we duplicate pages, and I will select remove as front page, and easy peasy, we've got that done. I'll use my sample home page. So what we're going to do first is set this as the front page. So you'll go to your kebab again, and you'll see now the option is use as front page. So first we'll set that as your front page, whichever page you want as your home page. And then we're going to navigate using the home link in the course navigation. We'll go to the home page. And right now, usually the default setting is modules, okay? So I don't have any modules yet, so it's just this blank screen. To set that front page, we're going to go to the right, and these are some of our course tools, and you should see one that says choose home page. Clicking on that opens this little dialog box, and there's an option. It's the second option on the list is pages front page. So now the page that I've selected as my front page will be my home page. So I'll save it. And then now when my students open this course, it automatically goes to the home page, and this is what they see. I can't see James's video, but we're good there. All right, and then let me show you how to put in modules. So let me go to my modules. and I don't have any modules yet. So you can also see now how to create a module. From this page, you can do create a module here, but if you already have modules, you can use this button at the top right corner. So I'm going to create a module, and we'll just call it, welcome module. Actually, we'll just call it module 1 because I think I have actual content in module 2. So we'll name it, and then we'll click down here, which I don't know if you can see because of my little my home bar or whatever it's called, but there's a maroon button down here that says add module. And so now that module exists here. So you could add files. I'm going to tell you, please don't do that. I am a strong opposer of adding files directly to modules. So I always recommend a page. So let's see how to do that. So there's a very faint plus sign up here in the top right, or I guess the far right of that module tab. You're going to click that, and you'll see an option here for add blank to module 2. Right now the default is assignment. We want to add a page. So we're going to go to pages. Now, you don't have to have already created the page to add it to the module. You can create a page and then edit it from there. We're going to add my example module overview page. So I'll select that. And then indentation is literally what it sounds like, is indenting on, is it flush with this module or is the text indented? So I will then just select add item, and now it is there. If I were to, I'm going to use some other pages just as examples so you can kind of see structure, but let's say I wanted to add the content page and I wanted to indent it. So I want that to be one level indented. So now it's indented over a little bit. And then this is also where you can add assignments. So it's the same process. If you wanted, I think I might have quizzes in here. No, I don't. I have no assignments either. I just made this shell today, y'all. But if you had assignments, quizzes, discussions, whatever, that's where you would also add them to the module from this same thing. And yeah, so did that answer your question, James? Was that a pretty clear tutorial on how to do that? Okay, cool. Well, anything else, my friends? I'm so glad that y'all were able to make it today. I really hope that this was helpful and that this kind of inspired you to try some new stuff with your course design. Remember, key points to take away: never copy it or import it into a live course. Make sure it's a sandbox or developmental course. Remember to be in edit mode unless you're in Firefox. If you're a Firefox user, just ignore me. But if you're using literally any other browser, remember to be in edit mode when you copy the page elements. If you feel like you broke it, you probably didn't. Just message us. We'll help you fix it. And yeah, oh, and of course, this is not a replacement for overall course organization and design. Remember, your module should still be well organized and consistent in layout. These are just to help give some consistency visually and some appeal visually to your course, and of course remain as accessible as possible. So if you guys don't have any questions, you are welcome to go. You're free to go. Thank you again for coming. If you need to stay after, if you want to ask us specific questions, you are free to do so. I am going to send out a follow-up email with this recording, so you'll have access to that, but we'll also be putting the recording up on our CITE YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to that. You can use that to view some references or resources. We also have an AI mini-series up on that channel, so feel free to go look at that. But the follow-up email will also have links to our Facebook, our website, our contact info. So don't worry, you're going to get all of that information within the next day or two. So before the end of the week, you'll have this recording, and I'll try to include some other course design resources or Canvas resources. We love Canvas. It's what we use here at MSU, and there I want to say probably really are a million resources provided by Canvas itself that are fantastic and super helpful. So yeah, if you're all good to go, thank you for coming, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll go ahead and stop the recording now.